Going on YouTube? I'm back to do my UFC 112 predictions coming up April 10th. Looks like a pretty good card, so we'll get right into it. First fight is Kendall Grove versus Mark Munoz. Kendall Grove, he's coming off a win over Jake Roseholt. Kendall Grove is a former winner of the Ultimate Fighter Season 3. He's got a good striking. That's mainly what he's known for. He uses his reach advantage in his fights. Gets guys in the clinch with big knees, elbows. And he's going up against Mark Munoz, who's had 3 fights in the UFC. Fought guys like Matt Hamill and Ryan Jensen. Looked really good in his last fight with some good ground and pound. Munoz is a really good wrestler. He's training with guys over at Black House with Nogueira, Anderson Silva, and all those guys. So he's training with a good camp. But I think Mark Munoz should be able to use his wrestling in this fight. I mean, Kendall Grove is going to want to keep this standing and use his reach against Munoz. He's going to have a really big reach advantage. Munoz is a little guy, but I think Munoz should be able to take down Kendall Grove, use his ground and pound, and I think he should be able to finish him on the ground. I'm going to say a third round TKO from Mark Munoz. I think he should be able to use his ground and pound to finish Kendall Grove. But he's got to find a way to get inside Kendall Grove's reach, pin him up against the fence, take him down, and all that stuff. Next fight is Terry Edom versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Rafael Dos Anjos is he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. He's coming off a win over Kyle Bradley, and then before that beating Ron Emerson. He got knocked out pretty bad by Jeremy Stevens in his UFC debut. That's one of my favorite knockouts. Dos Anjos, I guess he's a pretty well-rounded guy. I mean, the ground is more his where he wants the fight to be with Terry Edom, because Terry Edom is one of the prospects with a really bright future, I think, in the lightweight division. He's coming off a really good performance against Shannon Gogarty, beating guys before that like Justin Buchholz, Sam Stout, Matt Grice. He also beat. I think Terry Edom is going to want to keep this fight standing. I think he probably definitely has a better stand-up game than Dos Anjos does. He's got good boxing, Terry Edom, so I think he should be able to finish this fight on the feet. I'm going to say a first round TKO for Terry Edom. I think this stand-up is going to be too much for Dos Anjos to handle, and should be able to finish him. And the next fight is Renzo Gracie versus Matt Hughes. This is going to be Renzo Gracie's UFC debut, which is pretty hard to believe, man, because this guy he's been around, and for this to be his first fight in the UFC is pretty cool. He's fought really mainly in Japan, over in Pride, fighting guys like Dan Henderson, BJ Penn, Carlos Newton. He's coming off a win to Frank Shamrock, and that was back in 2007. I mean, he hasn't fought in a really long time. But Matt Hughes, who is equally as much of a legend, I think, as Renzo Gracie. I mean, Matt Hughes, one of the most dominant UFC champions. He's coming off a win over Matt Serra. Kind of controversial. A lot of people thought Serra took that fight. I mean, Hughes pretty much laid on top of Serra the whole time. I think Matt Hughes is going to be able to take down Renzo Gracie and control him on the ground. Pretty much similar what he did to Renzo's cousin Royce when he fought Royce Gracie. Just be able to control him on the ground, use his ground and pound, and I'm going to say a unanimous decision victory for Matt Hughes. It's going to be a similar fight to the Matt Serra fight. It's just Matt Hughes fight. I mean, taking the guy down and just controlling him when he gets down there. The co-main event is BJ Penn versus Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar is a really well-rounded young guy. I mean, looked really good in his last fight against Matt Beach. Didn't finish a lot of guys in the UFC before finishing Matt Beach, and I think that showed a lot of people that he could be able to finish a fight. He's not one of those guys that's just going to take you down and get it to the judge's decision. But before that, beating guys like Sean Shirk, Hermes Franca, Tyson Griffin, Spencer Fisher, a lot of good guys. But there's that one loss that people question against Gray Maynard. People say that Maynard should deserve the title shot because he did beat Frankie Edgar. But he's going up against BJ Penn, who's one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world right now. Really dominant in his last couple performances. I mean, not even close, especially against Diego Sanchez, his last fight, man. BJ Penn looks so good. Just completely destroyed Diego Sanchez. I don't want to say that BJ Penn's going to destroy Frankie Edgar, because I think Frankie Edgar's going to put up a pretty good fight in this fight, but I think BJ Penn is just going to be too good all around for Frankie Edgar. I mean, I think Frankie should be able to want to take this to the ground. I don't think he's going to want to stand with BJ. I mean, BJ's boxing is just really good. But then there's that, if he could hold BJ on the ground, that's what he's going to want to do. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do that to BJ Penn, man. I think he's just too good of a fighter. I'm going to say a 3rd round TKO for BJ Penn. I think we're just going to see him use his boxing against Frankie Edgar. I mean, Frankie's boxing has looked good in his last couple fights, but I don't think it's on the level of BJ's yet. I think BJ is just too good. So I'm going to say a 3rd round stoppage on the feet for BJ Penn to keep holding on to that belt. And then the main event is Anderson Silva versus Damian Maia. Anderson Silva was supposed to fight Vitor Belfort. I was really pumped for that fight, really excited to see it. But unfortunately, Vitor had to pull out because of injury. And Chael Sonnen was supposed to be the #1 contender, but he just recently fought and he couldn't go. So now they put in Damian Maia. Damian Maia is one of the greatest ground guys in the world right now that's fighting. Jiu-Jitsu world champion, coming off a good win over Dan Miller. Really showed that he's been working on his stand-up. Stand-up looked better than what we've seen in his other fights. Looked pretty good. But I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Anderson Silva. I mean, Anderson Silva's striking is just pinpoint with every shot he throws. Damian Maia is definitely going to want to take this to the ground, but Anderson Silva is not bad on the ground. It's like a lot of people say, to beat him, you got to take him to the ground. But Anderson Silva is arguably just as dangerous on the ground as he is on his feet. But but definitely Anderson Silva is going to want to keep this fight standing. But I'm going to say a 2nd round TKO for Anderson Silva. I think his stand-up is just going to be too much for Damian Maia. I think he should be able to finish him early in the 2nd round. Because, what you see a lot from Anderson Silva, he waits on guys, waits for them to make their mistake. And, I think Anderson Silva is definitely going to be able to take this fight. Undercard fights, and one I'm really looking forward to seeing maybe is Alexander Gustafsson versus Phil Davis, 2 prospects in the light heavyweight division. Phil Davis is a great wrestler, and Gustafsson showed some really good striking in his last fight. I'm really excited to see that undercard fight. Alright, that's it. You let me know, comment, rate, subscribe. Thanks a lot.